It's 10 p.m. in Banjul, and from our studios on MDI Road, this is the news. First, the headlines. Renowned Russian businessman and a special envoy of the Indian Prime Minister called on President Jammeh Babili Mansa at State House. The Minister of Lands and Regional Administration, Honorable Mamadou Akibayo, over the weekend inspects vast fields of sesame and findi in Kambong in a bid to motivate the Association of Village Heads in the West Coast region in Kambong to work harder. All eyes on Gao as thousands of African youths transform Mali's bustling city to a hot smuggling spot for those traveling to Europe through the back way. And prominent foreigners doing meaningful business in South Africa threaten to pull out as xenophobic attacks continue unabated despite international condemnation. This and other stories coming ahead this half hour. I am Alhaji Abubakar Darbo. Thank you for joining us. In a flurry of activities at State House, a renowned Russian businessman and a special envoy of the Indian Prime Minister separately paid courtesy call on the President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh Babili Mansa, and to Abubakar is seeking investment opportunities in the Gambia, while Special Envoy Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi held talks with Professor Jammeh. After their separate audience with the Gambian leader, they spoke to waiting journalists.
Future investments in the Gambia, the flow of money for the Gambia, and the residence of Emperor Nicholas III. His Excellency gave his approval, and he told that it would be possible to allocate the place and to place the Russian Emperor here as the official person.
What are your possible areas of investment? Usually, what do you specialize on?
Well, it depends upon the Gambian government, because it would be the agreement between the government, and the government will decide where to flow the money.
Но, безусловно, предполагается значительное строительство, и не только строительство.
I think that it will different construction, the construction of the buildings, the construction of roads is meant, and many other fields of economy.
I'm here as a special envoy to the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister of India, and I met His Highness President, and I extended invitation for coming Indo-Africa Summit, which is going on in October this year, and definitely the meeting is very fruitful, and we are expecting His Highness to visit India, and India and Gambia culturally very close, and definitely our relation will strengthen in coming days.
And to Abubakar and Abbas Naqvi speaking to reporters shortly after their audience with Professor Jammeh. The Minister of Lands and Regional Administration, Honorable Mamadou Akibayo, over the weekend inspected vast fields in sesame and findi in Kombo at Foni. The fields are being cultivated by the Association of Village Heads in the West Coast region. We have more in this report by Ibrahim Ajalo.
Given the current progression of the farms. Speaking to GRTS, the alcalde of Jalambang Lamin Jata, who is also the public relations officer of the association, said the move is meant to complement President Jammeh's food security initiative. He further stated that the association is poised to continue the farm works in subsequent years in a bid to serve as example to their counterparts across the country. Farm manager and alcalde of Burok, Alhaji Dumbia Koli, also echoed similar sentiments. The deputy governor of West Coast Region, Musa Amunyasi, said the move is a clear manifestation of the region's stance to make Vision 2016 a success. He commended the Lands and Regional Government Minister and his people for supporting President Jammeh's visionary cause. Nyasi further explained that the proceeds gained from the Findi and Sesame farms will be handed over to the President through the Lands and Regional Government Ministry.
I hope this will be emulated by Alcalde of other regions, because sooner or later I would like not only farms of Alcalde to be visited, but I would like to see also farms of Sefululu, farms of governors. Just as we have farm of cabinet ministers and a farm of the National Assembly members.
The roughly 10-hectare Findi and Sesame farms are expected to greatly contribute to the National Food Sufficiency Initiative. And according to the Ministry of Lands and Regional Governments, measures will be identified for the replication of the idea in other parts of the country. Ibrahima Jallo, GRTS News.
Authorities at the Gambia Standards Bureau are working on ways of harmonizing best practices that conform with international standards. If all goes as planned, authorities want to institute a Sharia-compliant system in line with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Winifred Nicole Hadibat reports.
The Gambia Standards Bureau recently secured funding from COMSEC, earmarked for capacity building and institutional strengthening for the standardization and metrology infrastructure to facilitate trade within the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC member countries, and the global markets.
In 2013, there was a high-level ministerial meeting that was held here in Banjul in April. And one of the objectives that was in the agenda of that meeting between the high-level OIC, high-level Turkish ministerial delegation, as well as the Gambian delegation, among the objectives was that the Gambia was being called upon to adopt the OIC CIMIC halal standards as national standards.
Halal, which refers to products and services permitted under Sharia law for safe human consumption, targets the ultimate beneficiaries such as producers, traders, exporters and importers operating within the local economy.
The procedure for standardization internationally calls for standards that have already been adopted at technical committee level before approval to be circulated for public review and commenting, where every single individual, nationally in the Gambia and even internationally, will be given the opportunity to look at those standards that have been adopted and finalized at the technical committee level and have their say and input. And that is exactly what brings us to the objective of these workshops that we have been conducting throughout the country.
If we find that there is no halal standard in existence in Gambia right now, all right, with the exception of what may be coming soon with this particular one. So before this one, there was nothing that the small businesses are adhering to, and therefore they can't do business outside of the Gambia or our region here, and not inside the OIC anyway. We have not monitored them. We just know that basically the Standards Bureau knows that, which is a fact. It's common knowledge that businesses, small businesses, are not really doing a whole lot of business outside of the country here. So we are hoping now, with the help of all stakeholders, particularly the business community, that when this standard is gazetted, is now owned by us here in Gambia, that they will adhere to it. And that's another aspect of it, because it's voluntary.
The expectation is that participants will further disseminate the information to wider audience and coverage. And with the successful implementation of the project, which is expected to help integrate the Gambian economy into OIC and the global halal market through the use of established and harmonized OIC/SMIC standards. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm Winifred Nicole.
Gambia Transport Services Company today briefed the press on its newly launched 2 transport services dubbed 1 o'clock services. This gives passengers another hour of bus services from Banjul to Basse and Basse to Banjul from 1 p.m. every day. Morbajan picks up the rest of that story.
As part of its mandate in easing mobility in the country, the Gambia Transport Services Company, GTSC, has increased another hour of bus service from midday to 1 p.m. when the buses plying from Basse to Banjul and vice versa would end for the day. The new package, called 1 o'clock services, rendered its customers traveling between the capital and Basse an added opportunity to enjoy 1 more hour of transport service.
As part of our expansion policy, and also as part of our corporate mandate to continue and push for what we initially set off to do, is provide transportation for everybody at affordable prices to all parts of the Gambia, from Banjul to Koina, everywhere and anywhere. Where we have people, we want to be there to cater for them. The new service that we are just introducing now is basically the 1 o'clock service from Banjul to Basse and the 1 o'clock service from Basse to Banjul. We are also introducing a new service operating from Bikamaba to Banjul on a daily basis.
GTSC's head of traffic, Alhaji Babu Jom, among its officials urged customers to make sure they get their tickets when boarding any bus in order to add value to the services and help the company earn revenue.
We want this GTSC to continue, and the only way GTSC will continue is through the payment of fares by the passengers. It is one thing for the passenger to pay, it is another thing for that money to get to where it should go. That is why we are asking the customers to pay their fare, demand for their ticket, give it to somebody to inspect the ticket for them, to make sure that the amount of money they have paid for is registered on the ticket. If you do that, you are helping a long way in sustaining this company. And after that, please don't throw your ticket. Retain your ticket for inspection.
Learning from the past, GTSC officials not only launched the 1 o'clock service, but have equally drawn up a plan to facilitate nationwide mobility ahead of the much-awaited Tobaski feast, during which people go through difficult times to get to their various destinations.
Tobaski is coming, and we have the biggest movement of people in this country in Tobaski. We have had our experience in 2013, 2014, and now we are trying to plan for 2015 based on our two experiences. For 2013 and 2014, we are now planning for 2015. And the plan is to make sure that no matter how many people want to travel, we will be able to move them from one point to the other, anywhere in the country, with comfort, ease, and affordable prices. This is our objective.
Collecting fares on a commercial vehicle sometimes causes problems as to who has actually acquired the right age to pay. But for GTSC, full fares are paid only if you are above 12 years of age.
We have a tariff for child travel. So if you're parents and you have traveled with some children along the way, we have some tariff place, which is child at the age of 0, from 1 to 6 years, they are free of charge. They don't pay anything for on the ticket. But from the age of 7 to 12, they pay half fare. So if you are going with a child or children that is between the age of 6 years to 7 years old, please, from the age of 1 to 6 is free, and then from 7 to 12 is half fare you pay. And above 12 years old, the child or children will have to pay a full fare. So above 12 is a full fare payment, please.
The officials call on the public, tourists, government, and private institutions to hire their fleet of fully air-conditioned, luxurious buses to take them anywhere in the country with maximum comfort. Modu Bajan reporting for GRTS News.
The Independent Electoral Commission will conduct a by-election to fill the vacant seat of Councillor of Half-Dye Ward in the Banjul City Council on Thursday, 1st October 2015. Nomination of candidates will be held on Thursday, 17th September 2015 at the IEC Regional Office in Banjul from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Prospective candidates should contact the regional office in Banjul on 3934790 or 3534209 in order to arrange the schedule of receipt of their nomination papers. We'll now take our first break and we'll come back momentarily. Welcome back. Thousands of African youths determined to go to Europe by all means available are now heading westward to the ancient city of Gao. The youths say they are compelled to travel to improve their economic well-being. We have more in this report by DWTB Report.
The desert begins beyond the Niger River. For many, it's a path to what they hope are better prospects. Here in Gao in northern Mali, thousands of West African migrants are preparing to make a dangerous trip through the Sahara. I have a brother in Europe who's now rich. With the money he earned there, he built a house in Guinea and started a family. I want to do what he did. 18-year-old Siaka is stranded here in Mali. His travel funds were stolen and he lost his cell phone. Now he's working in construction to earn a ticket north and then on to Europe. He says it's his only chance. My future is supposed to be in Guinea, but there's no job for me. My parents are poor, and I have to provide for them somehow. That's why I left, for a place I can make money. Stories like Siaka's are familiar to Father Anselm, a Catholic priest who's warned migrants for years of the dangers of traveling to Europe. He says African nations need to give young people more opportunities, but that Europe also needs to create easier paths to legal immigration.
When those people decide to go, they are already confessed. They have already sacrificed a lot of things. They have put a lot of investment on that. So it's very difficult to discourage them here at the door of their dream. They think that they have already arrived.
This home for migrants houses those whose dreams didn't work out. Abubcar's convoy was attacked at the Algerian border by Tuareg rebels. They took all of his money and tortured him. He was lucky to escape with his life.
Sophie, moi.
What I've seen was enough. I won't try to go to Europe again, and I'll tell others that. But I think most of them won't listen to me. They'll have to experience it themselves. Siaka also isn't letting the now familiar stories deter him. Stories of people dying of thirst in the desert, drowning in the Mediterranean, or being sent back to Africa after getting to Europe. I've heard there are problems, but I want to go. I hope I make it. I'm going to go. If all goes to plan, Siaka will soon be riding in one of the trucks that leave Gao each day to head north. That's where the long journey across the Sahara begins, but what lies at the end is uncertain.
South Africans are bracing up for a hard time. This after a group of prominent foreign business executives threatened to leave the country due to the continuing xenophobic attack meted out to them. Ordinary South Africans believe the situation is going to hurt the economy awfully.
Weeks after the most recent outbreak of xenophobic violence in Johannesburg, the effects are still visible. All of these shops that were set on fire are owned by migrants.
So, yeah. You can see from the sign on the roof, the AGT, the security company, actually extinguished the fire because they wanted to burn the entire shop on that night.
Why did they want to do that?
They said the foreigners were taking the jobs. It was like xenophobic. It was like almost 300 people. So they were going shop by shop. They were targeting shops that were owned by foreigners.
This part of town is ravaged by drug and alcohol abuse, as well as despair over unemployment amongst South Africans.
You should kill them now. Why?
I don't work, I don't anything, but these foreigners, they check the work and you check the small money at the company.
For a perspective on the consequences of these attacks, we visited Yeoville, a district of Johannesburg with many foreign-run shops.
Roughly 5,000 people left the country, roughly. We still have, in KwaZulu-Natal, for instance, we still have people who are living in camps because they're not reintegrated in the community. So unfortunately, the past few weeks were very tense.
Many South Africans are ashamed about what happened to their neighbors.
It's not good. It's not right. Because you are the same. You are the same. So there is no need people to kill another people.
I'm from Nigeria. I've been here since 3 years. 3 years. Yeah.
Do you feel safe in South Africa still?
Yeah, I feel safe in South Africa.
You saw what happened with all the xenophobic attacks. Did you not get scared?
I was scared, but I know God is in control.
Other countries have taken a tough stance in response to the attacks. Nigeria has threatened to close all South African-run shops in the country, and Mozambique is warning its citizens not to go to South Africa at all.
South Africa has a lot to lose if all migrant move out of South Africa. It's not possible because South Africa itself cannot imagine. If you are strong, it's because of others. You cannot be strong by your own.
The Zulu word Ubuntu is used to express solidarity with others. It means I am because we are, but it's in short supply when it comes to immigrants.
We'll now take our second break. Welcome back. And to sports making waves in the Gambia, beach soccer made its maiden appearance on the country sporting scene with the inaugural curtail race of the national championship. Two teams, Lords FC and Def Dara Cruz, made history as they contest the first ever official beach soccer game in the Gambia. Abubakar was at the Palmarima beachfront and he prepares this report.
The build-up was immaculate, carefully choreographed to resemble a scene for a theater rather than of football. And at the end, it was pure drama. Beach soccer has announced its introduction to the Smiling Coast with a bang. The inaugural game of the national championship was a classic, and the historic showdown saw Lords FC take on Def Dara Crew at the Palmarima beachfront. Def Dara scored first, Modu C finishing superbly with a cracking header after a swift build-up play. The first of a number of record-breaking moments in an action-packed game. Def Dara racing ahead with a 2-0 lead. Lords FC looked dead and buried as they struggled to have a foothold on the game, but they did pull themselves from the abyss to level the scores in dramatic fashion. Cherno Bah scored the first of a quick-fire equalizer. It was 2 apiece before the break. A breathless first quarter ended in a stalemate, and the second quarter produced an equally entertaining contest. Lords dominated the remaining double quarters, racing ahead with 2 more strikes. Def Dara Crew were momentarily reduced to 4 men after goalkeeper Umar Jallo received a straight red card. Lords went on to wrap a comfortable win, beating their rivals 4-2. They have made their mark, and their message to their rivals is simple.
That is our target, to come out and win, because although you're playing for fun, but at the end of the day you like to go home with something. So basically that is our target. We just don't want to play for fun, we want to play and win. Then the fun will be greater.
We are going for the trophy. Let them know 3 points is what we are coming for. It was a remarkable day on this beachfront, with many fans and curious onlookers enjoying a game of high quality. Eku Grant is the CEO of Crown Sports Entertainment Group, the organizers of the tournament.
Basically, I'm very happy with the organization. So far, so good. It's like we have some things that are still lacking, but we are working to make sure that by next week, when the other matches take place, everything would be intact.
The Gambia Football Federation is providing the technical support in ensuring this major championship is a huge success.
I think this is really a step in the right direction, and eventually we will soon be where we are supposed to be as far as beach football is concerned. This is very, 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 very good. I'm sure you can see the enthusiasm around. The players are very keen, they are very happy with the game, and I'm sure this will attract a lot of players. If you don't mind, I'm sure we would not be able to register all the clubs that would soon emerge from around the country.
But how can you fall in love with such highly entertaining and exciting sports? The coming weeks will define the future of beach soccer in the country, but few will forget the historic first game on the day it was officially introduced to its many fans. For Grts Sport, this is Abubakar Senghor.
And to another prominent sportsman switching allegiance to the Gambia, Swedish boxer Badou Jack Sunday won his latest fight with British boxer George Groves. Saturday's fight comes days after he's announcing his decision to represent the Gambia. Abubakar Senghor has the details.
He is the latest big hitter and renowned sporting icon to profess interest in returning to his roots and fly the flag of the Gambia. Badou Jack is a household name and a sporting icon to his many European audiences. Now the Swedish-born Gambian boxer has made the biggest decision of his professional career. He is set to represent the Gambia. Jack, who is in Las Vegas for his latest big fight with British boxer George Groves, ensured he will earn his stable a remarkable win. He floored his challenger in another successful contest. He is the latest high-profile boxer to have reconnected with the Gambia, following in the footsteps of another European-based boxer, Patrick Tiger Mendy, in choosing the Gambia. The two boxing champions' move has been a major coup for Gambian sports and the drive to injecting greater urgency into the country's sports and recreational industry. For Grts Sport, this is Abubakar.
Interesting. And before we go, a reminder of our headline-making stories once again. Renowned Russian businessman and a special envoy of the Indian Prime Minister have paid a courtesy call on the President His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Ejei Jammeh Babil Mansa at State House. The Minister of Lands and Regional Administration, Honorable Mamadou Akibayo, over the weekend has inspected vast fields of sesame and findi in Kambong in a bid to motivate the Association of Village Heads in the West Coast region in Kambong to work harder. All eyes on Gao as thousands of African youths transform Mali's bustling city to a hot smuggling spot for those traveling to Europe through the back way. And prominent foreigners doing meaningful business in South Africa have threatened to pull out as xenophobic attacks continue unabated despite international condemnation. That was all in this edition of the news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company. Stay tuned and enjoy GRTS.